What happens if we go back 11 years? The year is 2015. 11 years ago we got giant games like The Witcher 3, Bloodborne, Batman Arkham Knight, and people talk about them to this day. But at the start of the year we got a genre-defining underdog title, Dying Light, the zombie game revolutionizer. Hello everyone, in today's video we're gonna look at Dying Light 1 after 11 years and find out if it's still the best zombie survivor in the industry, or it become a forgotten gem that gets outclassed by every new entry. First of all, this game was a revolutionary to the zombie survival or zombie-centric games. No surprise that the game became even more popular after the first entry got a DLC, and 7 years later it got its second game, and then last year the third standalone game. Dying Light 1 is probably one of the most, if not the most known game and franchise in its genre, being a top 5 game next to some big titles like The Last of Us, Dead Island and Resident Evil. In this retrospective we're gonna look at 5 important segments. We're gonna talk about the gameplay, the story, atmosphere, world building and the risk factor. The game is a zombie survival, adventure and horror genre. You can even say you get everything here, which is pretty visible considering we have crafting features, durability for our weapons, different type of zombies that can't wait to bite our leg so we can't run away from them. It has the important parts of a survival game except water and food, since we only have a health bar that can be healed with medkits or findable snacks. One of the reasons why it got the love it got when it released in 2015 is the parkour elements. The parkour was probably the second feature that made the game extremely special to all other zombie games, because the game has quite an advanced parkour moveset, from the basic jumping sliding moves to the rolling and even jumping on them zombies' heads, wall runs and others. It even features a grappling hook that will make the parkour a lot easier, but you will get that later. The combat is pretty simple, with some weapon modifications. You can both use melee and ranged weapons, but you have to remember that guns will draw a horde of zombies. We got different moves to take down enemies. One of these takedowns that is my favorite is the head stomp, when we hit a zombie to the ground and then stomp the living shit out of it. Even though they aren't alive anymore, but you guys get it, I hope. The combat wasn't really revolutionary to the genre, but it still felt really satisfying mopping the floor with the zombies or to just dropkick them to their doom. Of course, all of this can become a vice versa and they could just eat you. We have a couple different types of zombie enemies and we have a lot of scary ones, who I'm gonna talk about later. The enemies really feel like zombies. They are both slow and well undying depending on what difficulty you played the game. I played it on hard on my new save file, and they just endure so many hits. One of these big zombies took me 7 minutes to kill and 3 weapons, because it had so much health, so I advise everyone to play the game on normal difficulty for the first time, if they of course don't hate themselves, or if you have a really good game sense, then I guess you can play it on harder difficulty too. Another big thing that made this game revolutionary is the day and night cycle. So all in all, the gameplay is smooth and fast, but can be played slow, and it has everything what you will need for a zombie game. We have to talk about Techland a little bit because they put a lot of passion and time to this game, looking out for different Easter eggs, bugs, small details. If they wouldn't be here, maybe this genre wouldn't be there where they are now. What kind of story can you really think of when you know it's about zombies? Personally, I always think about a world-ending crisis where the cure gets researched and it finishes in a happy ending, or everybody just dies. Yeah, pretty basic, I know, but that's what happened here too. Dying Light's worst aspect is the story. It's nothing really new that you wouldn't have solved in the past 20 or 50 years. Sadly, the story is a whole cliché, but that's alright, cause that's not the thing what you are looking for in this game. I won't say it's terrible, but it definitely wasn't exceptional. We had lows and highs, we got betrayed, we got jump scared, and we got chased all over the story and its missions. The twist with the GRE wasn't too surprising, and the characters that later leave us was awaitable. We did had highs in the story, especially in the zombie parts where we meet our first volatiles that will forever scare me. Doesn't matter which game I will play out of the franchise. Most of the good characters are likable, even Bracken. I find him a bit annoying, but yeah, he's still not that bad. And the evil characters are also likable as evil characters. But the story doesn't really shine in anything other than one thing, in the atmosphere. Now one thing that this game did better than any other zombie game is the atmosphere. Don't take it wrong, there are a lot of zombie games that makes the atmosphere scary, dark and genuinely uneasy, but the first Dying Light game somehow is still on the top. After 11 long years, the land that in the outside looks like a normal city without any vehicles looks scarier than what you would imagine from a game about zombies. In the inside of the city, it's completely different. To this day, I still feel that unsettling feeling in the game when it becomes nighttime. Hearing how volatile trying to be stealthy so I won't start a chase, because if I'm not careful, I will get eaten in moments. It's disturbing and terrifying. And although it's much better in daytime, there is still an unsettling feeling waiting for the simple zombies to try to grab you from a corner of the house if you didn't look everywhere. And when suddenly 3 runners just comes to you and you have to fight them, or a brute just starts spamming its one and only move, smashing its weapon onto you, and if you don't dodge it, you are getting terrified. All of this becomes worse when you play through the story. The screaming baby in the story is probably the scariest shit I experienced in any stories. It was so scary that I had to stop the game and take a 10-minute break because my heart started to beat too fast. It was constantly pounding. To understand what I mean exactly by the atmosphere, you have to play this game. There's a lot of zombies and a lot of abandoned places that just keep making the environment and atmosphere pressuring. We have 2 main maps where we will be able to play in Harran's Slums and in Sector 0 or Old Town, however you like to call it. You will probably spend most of your time in the slums since it's the starting area and we spend most of the time in the story there, I believe. It perfectly fits the parkour aspects of the game and I don't think I have to talk about the fact that it looks incredible. And with an Nvidia video card, it's even better. The graphics is unusually good and it's an 11-year-old game. I spend most of my time in the slums, since it has both race camps and the tower. Latter I use mostly so I can get to safe zone when night approaches. And I also find it more interesting to parkour there than in Section 0. Section 0 is also good for parkour, but I feel like there you will need the grappling hook, which takes a bit out of the parkour aspects. But nonetheless, it's still good to parkour around there. And it has the harder enemies too, so if you want more challenge, then you would definitely play there. You can reach each of these maps through the sewers, and probably that's the worst part of the map. You can't fast travel between these 2 parts. I don't have a problem if a game doesn't let me fast travel, but when it comes to things like 2 different maps, then I have some problem, because I don't like that. For me, it kills the game's vibe, and just there to take my time away. You spend around 5 to 10 minutes from getting one end of the sewer to the other. Apart from that, I find the world building really good. What I didn't touch on it yet is the amount of zombies we have. It is insane how many is there in one little part. You can find 10 plus zombies on both maps. So that's not a thing anybody can complain on. And the very last segment is actually 2 things put it together. We're gonna talk about the first part because I don't have too many things to talk about it. And that's the co-op part. I played this game alone, so I never managed to experience the co-op version, but I knew some of my old classmates had a lot of fun in it. Jumping around and accidentally falling down high places and killing zombies. What else can you ask for? But we're gonna come back to this later, because we're gonna talk about the second part now. The risk factor, which is a really punishing thing. We have 3 skill trees: parkour, combat and survival. Whenever you die, you lose an amount of survival XP, which will only make your life easier as you play on if you don't die. If you do die, then this game gets instantly harder, since a lot of things you will need is on the survival skill tree. This risk factor can mean that you really have to play above average or have some experience in the game, since even simple zombies have a chance to kill you with their sheer amount of numbers. You can lose more than 5000 points of survival XP, which will set you back pretty far in the game, and that can stack up really fast. And here we're gonna come back to the co-op mechanics. The game already hard enough if you play alone, and although it can be easier with a friend and it also helps XP gain, it puts up the risk that if one of you dies, you have to clutch up and save them. And my point comes here. You will risk both your own and your friend's XP points, which can be really frustrating in a nightmare difficulty run. And what I want to say with this, that this game is really hard and punishes you really badly, which you either like or hate depending on how much do you like the challenge that video games give you. So after these 5 segments, I think I can say that yes, Dying Light 1 still holds up today and worth to play in 2026. It had updates in these last 11 years and it wasn't neglected after launch like other games. It's still fun and a joy to play. And most important of all, it's scary. And lucky for everyone, it's on discount now on Steam Summer Sale for only €2. So I advise you to buy it till the summer sale is still on. I can't forget to give this game a rating like I do with the AC series, and on our 10-point scale this game is a solid 8.5 out of 10, barely below 9 out of 10 because of the lacking story. I hope you liked today's video. Please write down what you think about the game. Do you find it badly aged or you still think this game got traction behind it? And also write it in the comments if you would like to watch more Dying Light content. Maybe like this, maybe some challenges, for example like my Minecraft challenge that is on the channel that you can watch. And yeah, that's it. Drop a like and subscribe. Bye!